Imagine waking up tomorrow and, instead of criticizing yourself for everything you didn't do, you simply said, "I'm proud of you for trying." What would that feel like? What would it change? For most of us, our inner voice isn't kind, it's punishing. It doesn't motivate us through love. It pushes us through fear and shame. It tells us we're behind, that we're not enough, that someone else is doing it better. It sounds a lot like voices we've heard before, maybe from childhood, maybe from the world around us, but we've internalized it. It's ours now, and we carry it like it's the truth. But what if, just for 21 days, you chose to talk to yourself differently? What if, instead of rehearsing your shame every morning, you started rehearsing self-compassion? This isn't about lying to yourself. This isn't toxic positivity. This is about choosing a new script, one that tells the truth about who you are without lacing it with cruelty. Shame loves silence. It thrives in secrecy. And it feeds off the words we say to ourselves when no one's listening. That inner voice, the one that says, "You're too much, you'll never change, why even try?" It's not a motivator, it's a saboteur. You don't need another self-help list. You don't need to be fixed. What you need is to feel safe with yourself, and safety begins with the way you talk to you. Try this for 21 days. When you catch yourself in the middle of self-criticism, pause. Don't try to shut it down immediately, just notice it. Say, asterisk, that's the old voice, that's not who I am now, asterisk, and then choose a different response. Maybe it's asterisk, that was hard, I did my best, asterisk, or asterisk, I'm allowed to be learning, asterisk, or even just, asterisk, I hear you, but I don't believe you today. Asterisk, the goal isn't to silence every negative thought. The goal is to stop agreeing with the ones that are rooted in shame. For 21 days, what if your self-talk wasn't about self-improvement, but self-acknowledgement? What if you didn't wait to get better, to be kind to yourself? Because here's the truth. Shame never leads to sustainable change. It leads to hiding, pretending, numbing, and burnout. But compassion changes everything. When you speak to yourself with compassion, you start to show up differently. You become more honest, more brave, more willing to try again. You're no longer afraid of failing, because failing doesn't mean you're bad asterisk. It just means you're human. For 21 days, make space for that humanity. Talk to yourself like someone who is learning. Like someone who matters, like someone you're proud of, not because they're perfect, but because they keep showing up. It might feel awkward at first. You might feel like a fraud. That's okay. Most of us have been speaking to ourselves with the voice of shame for so long that kindness feels unnatural. But it isn't unnatural, it's unfamiliar. There's a difference. Shame tells you you're broken. Compassion reminds you you're becoming. You're not weak for needing gentleness. You're wise for knowing you deserve it. And you do deserve it, not because you've earned it, but because you're a human being doing your best in a world that often tells you it's never enough. So for the next 21 days, rewrite the script. Talk to yourself like someone who belongs, like someone who is already worthy, like someone whose imperfections are not liabilities, but signs of living, breathing, asterisk, trying. Asterisk, tell yourself, asterisk, I am not behind. I am allowed to rest. I do not have to prove my worth. I can be proud of small steps. I am not defined by my worst day. I get to begin again, asterisk, and if you forget tomorrow and fall back into the old script, don't shame yourself for that either. Just begin again, gently, that's the whole point. This is a practice, a muscle, a reconditioning, and 21 days of practicing self. Kindness is not just a challenge, it's a revolution. You've spent enough time rehearsing shame. Try rehearsing self-respect instead. Not because it's trendy or popular or on a sticky note on someone's mirror, but because you're worth talking to in a way that feels like love. You don't need to change everything in your life right now. Just start here. Start with your voice. Start with your words. Start with the way you talk to the person you live with every day asterisk you asterisk. And don't do it for anyone else's approval. Do it because you deserve to live in a mind that feels like a safe place to land. Just 21 days, that's all. You in? What if, for the next 21 days, you spoke to yourself the way you wish someone had spoken to you when you were hurting most? No fixing, no judging, just presence, just warmth. The truth is, most of us walk through life wearing invisible armor. We suit up with perfectionism, we hide behind productivity, and we numb ourselves with busyness. We think if we just do enough, achieve enough, prove enough, we'll finally feel safe. But under all that armor is a voice, a tender, quiet voice that just wants to be seen, heard, and loved. That voice doesn't need more pressure. It doesn't need to be told to hustle harder. It needs to be held. And the person most responsible for holding it is *U*. For 21 days, you are invited into a challenge, not to change yourself, but to meet yourself, not to judge your flaws, but to sit with them. This is the 21-day vulnerability challenge. It starts not with what you say out loud, but with what you whisper to yourself when no one else is listening. So many of us have learned to talk to ourselves like our worth is conditional. If I succeed, I'm worthy. If I please everyone, I'm lovable. If I stay small, I'm safe. But vulnerability doesn't work like that. Vulnerability says, I'm scared and I'm still showing up. It says, this might not be perfect, but it's real. It says, this is who I am, and I won't abandon myself here. For 21 days, the invitation is simple. Talk to yourself with radical honesty and radical gentleness. No more pretending, no more posturing, no more treating your struggles like signs of failure. Instead, every time the self-doubt creeps in, every time your inner critic raises its voice, try responding with, I see you, I know this is hard, but I'm still here with you. Because that's what you needed as a child. That's what you need now, not someone to fix everything, but someone who stays. This challenge isn't about flooding your mind with empty affirmations. It's about building trust with yourself, one word, one moment at a time. Day by day, you'll start to notice the difference. Instead of spiraling into shame when you make a mistake, you might pause and say, that was tough, but I'm learning. Instead of shutting down when you're overwhelmed, you might say, this feels like too much, and I'm allowed to ask for help. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the birthplace of connection, and connection begins within, when you can connect with yourself, with your fear, your longing, your pain, and your joy. You stop abandoning the parts of you that are hardest to love. That's what this challenge is about, loving yourself in the moments when it feels impossible. For 21 days, you'll become your own witness, your own comfort, your own safe space. You'll speak to yourself with the voice of someone who understands that being human is messy, brave, and sacred. You might be surprised how uncomfortable it feels. You might catch yourself thinking, I don't deserve this kindness. I haven't earned it. But that's the voice of an old story, one that taught you that your worth is tied to performance, perfection, or approval. That story is tired. That story has kept you small. The new story starts here, and it's written in the language of compassion. So here's how it works. Every morning, take a moment to check in with yourself. Ask, how am I really feeling today? Not what should I be feeling, not what do I need to pretend, but what's true for me right now. Then speak to that truth as you would to a friend you love. If you're tired, say, you've been carrying a lot. It's okay to rest. If you're anxious, say, of course this is scary, but I trust you to handle it. If you're feeling small, say, you matter, even when it feels like you don't. This is how healing begins, with language, with presence, with truth, and on the days you forget. Because you will forget. You don't have to start over, just begin again. That's the whole point. There's no test to pass, no perfection to achieve. Just the daily practice of not leaving yourself behind. You don't have to become someone else in 21 days. You just have to start showing up for yourself. And when you do, something beautiful happens. The shame begins to loosen its grip. The self-doubt gets quieter, the compassion gets louder, and slowly, gently, you begin to trust yourself. not because you've gotten everything right, but because you've proven that no matter what, you won't abandon your heart. You can't avoid vulnerability, but you can choose how you meet it. And when you meet it with love, with patience, with a voice that says, I'm staying, everything begins to shift. So for the next 21 days, let that be your challenge. Not to be fearless, but to be honest. Not to be perfect, but to be kind. Not to be bulletproof, but to be brave enough to say, asterisk, this is me, and I'm still worthy. Asterisk, what would change in your life if, for just 21 days, you spoke to yourself like someone whose heart truly matters? Most people go their entire lives being kinder to strangers than they are to themselves. We extend grace to others. We forgive their mistakes, offer them encouragement, and remind them that they're only human. But when it comes to how we talk to ourselves, the rules change. We become harsh, critical, unforgiving. We treat our missteps as proof that we're unworthy. We speak to ourselves in tones we'd never use on someone we love. That's why this isn't just a mindset shift. It's a compassion reboot. For 21 days, the invitation is simple but powerful. Speak to yourself with the same kindness, patience, and understanding you'd give to someone you cherish. Because here's the truth, your internal world sets the tone for everything else. If the voice in your head is always angry, ashamed, or disappointed, no amount of external success will feel like enough. Peace doesn't come from doing more. It comes from changing the way we relate to ourselves. This reboot isn't about pretending everything's fine. It's not about sugarcoating your feelings or avoiding accountability. It's about learning how to hold yourself with gentleness asterisk while asterisk being honest. It's about seeing your flaws and saying, I still choose love. Because love isn't something we earn through perfection. It's something we practice through compassion. Try this for one day when you notice yourself being hard on yourself. When you make a mistake, fall behind, or feel overwhelmed. Pause, breathe. And instead of spiraling into shame, say to yourself, asterisk, this is hard. And I'm allowed to feel that. Asterisk or asterisk. I'm struggling right now, but I'm still worthy of love. Asterisk, the first few times might feel forced. It may sound unnatural or even fake. That's okay. Compassion is a muscle, and for many of us, it's one we haven't used in a long time. The critical voice in your head has been loud for years. It's not going to go quiet overnight. But what you can do, what you asterisk must asterisk do is give another voice a chance to grow louder. The voice of empathy, of kindness, of grace. When you begin speaking to yourself differently, you change the environment you live in every day. You stop making your worth conditional. You stop waiting for someone else to validate your existence. You become your own ally, your own safe place, your own source of peace. And here's something you may not expect. When you treat yourself with compassion, it becomes easier to be real with others. You no longer have to perform or pretend. You don't need to hide your flaws or mask your insecurities. You've made peace with them. You've learned to sit with your discomfort without letting it define you. And that kind of self-acceptance creates space for authentic connection. For 21 days, this reboot is about reprogramming your inner dialogue. Instead of thinking, asterisk, I'll be good enough when, asterisk, you practice saying, asterisk, I am enough even now, asterisk, instead of, asterisk, I can't believe I messed that up. Asterisk, you say, asterisk, I'm human and I'm still learning. Asterisk, instead of, asterisk, everyone else is doing better than me. Asterisk, you remind yourself, asterisk, my path is mine and I'm doing the best I can. Asterisk, none of this is easy, but it's worth it, because the alternative, living in a constant state of self-rejection, is exhausting. It's isolating, and most of all, it's not true. The idea that you have to be perfect to be worthy is a lie. It's a lie we've been taught by culture, by comparison, by old wounds and unhealed stories, and it's time to unlearn it. Compassion doesn't mean lowering your standards. It means changing your strategy. Shame is not a sustainable motivator. It might work for a moment, but it burns out fast and leaves a trail of self-loathing behind it. Compassion, on the other hand, says, I believe in your growth, and I'll be here for you while you figure it out. That kind of support builds resilience. It creates real, lasting change. If you take nothing else from this, let it be this. You don't have to wait to feel better about yourself before you start treating yourself with kindness. In fact, the kind way you speak to yourself is what helps you begin to feel better. It's the foundation, the lifeline, the first step out of survival mode and into healing. So for the next 21 days, talk to yourself like someone whose pain is valid, like someone who has come a long way, like someone who's still figuring it out, but who doesn't deserve to be punished for that. Talk to yourself like someone who matters, because you do, and if you forget tomorrow, if you fall back into the old pattern of self-criticism, that's okay, that's part of it. Compassion isn't about being perfect, it's about beginning again as many times as it takes. So begin again today with the next thought, with the next breath, with the next moment you find yourself hurting and choose to say, I see you. I'm here. We've got this. This is the compassion reboot, not a quick fix, not a feel. Good trend, a commitment. To speak to yourself like someone worth fighting for, because you are. There's a voice inside you that's been waiting to be heard. Not the loud, anxious voice that tells you to hustle, prove, or please, but the quieter one underneath, the one that knows your truth, the one that wants to guide you with strength, not fear, that voice. It's your brave inner voice. And for the next 21 days, your challenge is to build a relationship with it. Most of us have learned to speak to ourselves in ways we would never speak to someone we care about. We shame ourselves for not doing enough. We criticize ourselves for being afraid. We dismiss our needs, silence our instincts, and guess our every step. Somewhere along the way, we started believing that we couldn't trust ourselves. That self-doubt was the responsible thing, that self-criticism was how we grew. But the truth is, you don't grow through judgment. You grow through support, and support begins with how you talk to yourself when no one else is listening. For 21 days, your invitation is to talk to yourself like someone you trust, not someone you pity, not someone you're trying to fix, someone you believe in . Imagine that. Imagine being your own source of encouragement, your own safety net, your own reminder that no matter how hard life gets, you are still showing up. And that matters. This challenge is not about being blindly optimistic. It's about being fiercely honest and unshakably kind at the same time. It's about saying, yes, this is hard, and yes, I can handle it. It's about replacing inner fear with inner faith, not by denying your struggles, but by facing them with a different kind of energy. Not the energy of control or perfectionism, but the energy of courage. Courage doesn't sound like a motivational speaker shouting from a stage. It sounds like a whisper in the dark that says, keep going. I've got you. That's the voice you're here to build. That's the voice you need when life doesn't go according to plan. When the job falls through, when the relationship ends, when the old patterns come back, and the fear sets in. It's in those moments that your inner voice matters most. So how do you build it? You start by noticing the current one. What's the first thing you say to yourself when something goes wrong? Do you immediately criticize? Do you minimize your pain? Do you shut down emotionally and pretend it doesn't matter? Pay attention. The way you respond to your pain will tell you everything about the relationship you have with yourself. Then, little by little, you interrupt the pattern. When the old voice says asterisk, you always mess things up. Asterisk, you replace it with asterisk, this is tough, but I'm learning. Asterisk, when the fear says asterisk, don't even try, you'll just fail again. Asterisk, you say asterisk, I've failed before and I'm still here. I'm stronger than that voice. Asterisk, when the pressure says asterisk, you should be further along by now. Asterisk, you remind yourself asterisk, I'm allowed to grow at my own pace. Asterisk, these are not just words. They are acts of resistance, acts of self-loyalty, acts of reclaiming your power from all the moments in your life that made you feel small. You don't need to drown out your fear. You just need a voice strong enough to speak over it. That's the goal of the next 21 days, to become someone you can count on. not someone who gets it all right, someone who asterisk stays asterisk. Through the mess, through the doubt, through the healing, you can be brave and scared at the same time. You can be uncertain and still move forward. You can feel like you're falling apart and still show up with integrity, and every time you do, that inner voice gets stronger, more trustworthy, more true, and don't worry if it feels awkward. First, most of us weren't taught how to speak to ourselves with compassion and courage. We were taught to perform, to please, to self-correct before we even made a mistake. So it's no surprise that your inner voice might still carry the echoes of fear-based beliefs. That doesn't make you broken. That makes you human. The good news is, you're not stuck with that old voice. You get to choose again. You get to build a voice that reflects your values, your truth, your strength. One that sees your vulnerability not as a weakness, but as a sign that you're alive and still trying. Every morning, the next 21 days, ask yourself this question, asterisk, what would it sound like to speak to myself with courage today? Asterisk, and then do your best to live into that answer. Maybe it's telling yourself, I don't have to be perfect to be worthy. Maybe it's saying, I trust myself to figure it out. Or maybe it's just reminding yourself, I'm doing the best I can, and that's enough. Keep showing up. Keep choosing the braver thought. Keep speaking the truth in love, even when it feels shaky, because the voice you're building, that's the one that will carry you through the moments when everything else feels uncertain. That's the voice you'll lean on when things fall apart, and when they come back together. So talk to yourself like someone you trust, someone you respect, someone you love, because you're not just creating a new habit. You're creating a new foundation, one built not on fear, but on bravery. And it starts with the next word you say to yourself.